And okay,
All
are we
right,
ready?
let's do it. Krenner.
Hey,
Hi,
Hey,
Krenner. So,
it's
so welcome to Beercon 1. Um,
awesome.
Great to have you. Great to hear another American accent. Um, you are apparently a programmer turned recruiter.
oh,
Yeah,
So
that's
this
that's
is this is super cool because we wonder about the world of infosec recruitment
oh yes, we
and,
do.
and
well,
how cool the industry is, or is it really shit, or is it hard, is it easy? Tell us about what you do.
okay. So yeah, I started. I'll age myself. It was early mid '90s. I did a little bit of application programming, and then I found myself doing IT, standing up and running help desks, a little bit for startups, and then for local government. And then I realized that what I was really good at was building those teams more than the technical stuff. Love the
Cool.
technology, and I still get to be involved in it and a part of it because I'm surrounded by it. But recruiting is what I'm really super good at. So now I run a recruiting team at a technology company. So that's who I am. I don't care if you call me K Renner. Everybody at conferences either calls me Krenner or car hacking person, girl, whatever. But my name is actually pronounced Kirsten. And few
Okay.
people do, right? But that's who I am. And I'm a Saints fan. Who dat? What's up, Ray?
All right, Kirsten. Cool. Great intro. So you were a programmer back in the day, and you did tech, and you do tech, and you are a techie person. So how have you found moving out of one realm and into another one? And how's the one thing help the thing you do now?
I think it's very important for recruiters to make themselves knowledgeable if they didn't come in with any technology um, background. I train my recruiters. One of them just went and got an AWS cert at reInvent. Um, so it doesn't mean that I can sit down and do all the things that you guys can do, right? Or the technical people can do. Shit, I was programming in Visual Basic like a million years ago.
Sure.
I don't even know if that's still a thing, but I think it's very important to understand what you're recruiting for. At the end of the day, could I recruit in healthcare? Yes. Could I recruit in, I don't know, construction? Probably. But I want it to be something that I'm passionate about. And as far as our community goes, I've been listening to each of not all of them, but a few of the sessions up to this point. I'm trying to slow down on my drinking so I can stay awake for some of my friends that are coming up after me after my but I'm listening to what you're saying and noticing. I'm on Twitter all the time, and I want to tell you what I was going to talk about and how Twitter changed my mind at 3 o'clock this morning, my time.
Cool.
Wow.
The technology, because if you're not sleeping, and who sleeps, right? And you're out of wine, what do? Get on Twitter, right? You just
Get on Twitter. Yeah.
at it, and your whoever's with you punches you for waking them up. But I saw a post. Let me back up. What I was going to talk about is I was just going to do like talk to 6 or 7 recruiters, and I said, "Hey, tell me your best and worst candidate experiences." And this is going to be very entertaining, right? I'm going to tell you guys these great stories. And then as I started to collect those stories from them, I realized that's not helpful at all, right? Because if I tell you a story about you should never show up drunk, or you should never over a desk, right? Well, you should only flip over the desk if you're interviewing for the WWF. But if you're that's not helpful. It's trash, right? It's click. So I said I'm gonna do better than that, and I hope I pronounce her name correctly, Alyssa, who's actually coming up here after me or tomorrow morning.
Yeah, she is. She's in there soon. Yeah.
Yeah. She's in the group, and I want to shout out one thing. Besides that, her tweet prompted what I'm about to speak about. And sorry, I'm Italian. I just go off in a lot of directions. I hope you can follow them.
Bene.
With me? Okay. Um, shout out, she just did a article on LinkedIn. You should all look at it and read it. It's about leadership, and it's one of the most poignant um, things I've ever read about leadership. It really struck me, and I've been reflecting on it and trying to be a better leader based on what she said. So I'm going to say that real quick. But the thing last night, and I believe she wasn't the original tweet. I want to give credit to the person who did it. I wrote it down, but I can't find it. It was about horrible job descriptions. And
Okay.
it was a screenshot of a job description that listed, I'm not kidding you, 40 requirements. They didn't say preferences. They didn't say.
Was that the Sony architecture one that got widely lampooned by the entire community?
So I don't think I should say the company, and I don't think that's who the company was, but it's a big company, and some of the screenshots had the company redacted.
Okay.
And company size matters in this. What I want to walk you through is, in my opinion and experience, how does this happen? I have two theories, and what should you do about it? How should you respond? So do you have any questions first before?
No, lay it on us.
Lay it on you. Okay.
We got bated breath.
I haven't heard any clicking of beer can tabs opening in the last few minutes. Does that mean you're slowing down? Nice. That was amazing.
It sounded like the French Revolution.
That was fantastic.
That was me.
So I'm gonna take you to before I got into InfoSec recruiting at about the year 2000, and I did have some examples that I thought maybe would be interesting besides flipping over tables and being drunk. Let me just say one thing you shouldn't do, and then I'll get to the job postings. The only example I wanted to point out, and I don't think very many normal non-sociopathic humans would do this, but you can do variations of this. There was a person, this was my very first DEF CON back, oh my God, 2000, it was 10 years ago or more.
Wow.
And I was brand new. I was a baby. I didn't know anything. I was like, they threw me right in the pool. And I had my personal cell phone number on my business cards. You know, that's how much of a kid I was. And came home after it was all over, started getting text messages from this person who wanted to be a candidate to one of the positions that I had posted on my company's website at the time, and wanted, I guess, to impress me by talking about and sending screenshots and excerpts from domestic case files from my personal past, from a very dark time in my past. And that's pretty awful. So let me just say, as a free pointer to the universe, if you're capable of doing dark, creepy things, find a better way to let people know. So that was, I don't think it ended up working out very well for that individual, but that was my worst candidate story, by the way.
Just shocked, you know, like that. It's just beyond, like, how do people really work that? I get if you're critical about a job description. I get if you're critical about, you know, maybe the way the company treated you or their process. But to then kind of go to that dark place of like stalking or you know, making a person feel very uncomfortable or unsafe, just what is the mental, you know, process there?
You know what? And guess what, person? That doesn't even make you a hacker.
No.
I know all the best hackers in the world. That's not hacking. That's super Googling. That's cheap and gross, right? Those types of records, if you really wanted to figure out where I used to live, and they're public records, if you're really weird and bored. So it wasn't even impressive. It was just creepy. I don't know how that happens. I feel very badly when I see people having bad experiences, it's why I volunteer. It's why I speak at conferences. It's why I train people how to interview and how to write their resumes so that they'll have a better experience. It's why I try to make my recruiters better to close the gap in this process and make it less awful. Hey, not every recruiter sucks. Not every candidate flips over tables.
I've got a question for you, Kirsten.
Yes.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of people in industry general, wherever the mission that we're in, tends to be approached by people in LinkedIn, recruitment companies and recruiters and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I get a lot, and I'm guessing a lot of other people get the same thing. I saw in a database the word Salesforce with your name next to it.
Me?
No, me. So here's a job that you may be interested in because it's got the word Salesforce that was a database match and all that kind of shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Or a very formulated template approach that says, we have a job and your profile seems to fit it perfectly. And all that
Yep.
And then I look and it's not even close to what I do, man.
Exactly.
Like, it's just unbelievably, and then, the other weirdness is like, a recruiter hits you up for an introduction to somebody else. And I'm just like, I don't get it. Like,
I should have prefaced with, I want to make a blanket apology on behalf of all the.
It is not your fault. You're one of the good ones.
No, I mean, I'm sure, and I'm sure I made mistakes back in the day. When I was a rookie, I'm sure I did. I reached out to a systems engineer and said, "Do you want to program in Java?" or something stupid like that. I don't know that that's what I did, right? Well, but
that was Sean Wrightzak.
I've got the best one. I had a recruiter reach out to me asking if I was interested in a job. Fine. Java, web development. Fine. I was doing all of that. Except for it was the same company in the same role. So I basically had a recruiter.
I'm so sorry.
So, I mean, you get these train wreck stories, but at the end of the day,
you know what I wish we had? I wish we had hours. Because I want to address. No, I swear, I'm ready to take the punches, right? I'm ready to have people throw tomatoes at me. I will get up on the stage and everyone can raise their hand and complain, and I feel horrible because I want to solve it. I really do. I was, that little kid running around trying to fix things. I want it to be better. Yeah, like I guess that's called a social justice warrior now.
That's awesome, though. No, that is true.
But I do want to make it better, and I do want people to understand, and I'm going to mention LinkedIn in my solution.
Okay.
If we go back to this wretched job description, it had, I think, 43 requirements. There's two different reasons that right off the top of my head I can think of why a job description would be that awful. So one of them is going to be because it was written specifically for, and my company doesn't do this, we are a legit shop, but back in the day when I did telecommunications before InfoSec, a lot of the candidates required a sponsorship for a visa, right? So let's just say the person who's a perfect fit, who could do this is back in the day now, work with me, like 3G, ETL, whatever, right? Could climb towers and CDMA, right? So there's this candidate and they need an H-1B. And so I have to file for that. So I have to follow the rules and post the job and leave it open for whatever the stated number of days is. Let's just pretend it's 5. I have to have the job open. So I'm going to very creatively write that job description in such a way that it is a for sure fit for this person. And a lot of other people won't necessarily apply to it because it's awful. And let's just say I'm going, okay, I'm posting this job. I know exactly who I want to hire, but I have to post it because I have to prove that I followed a competitive process and was being fair, wasn't discriminating against people who aren't this person in case there are some protected factor other than this person. And let's just face it, that person, just statistically speaking, is probably a white guy. It's just a fact, right? And I'm, please, everyone who isn't a white guy, don't get mad at me. It's just statistics. So if you aren't that person, and I write the job description and I say, okay, I want you to have, oh no, what can I think of? A CISSP and a PhD and 3 years of lacrosse. What? because he played lacrosse in college, wink, wink. He's going to get the job and everyone else is going to be angry. Here's how, and there's another reason why some job descriptions are terrible. And this is probably way more likely the case. In fact, when I looked at the one last night on Twitter, and you can look at Alyssa's page, my page, and I'll find this other guy's name who originally posted it. And I'm going to write this whole thing up and turn it into a blog and post it for everyone because we're probably going to run out of time. But the other reason is going to be straight up administrative errors. My company's only 1,000 people. We've got like hundreds of jobs open. So think of the huge companies that have thousands of jobs open. They're really not paying close attention, and it could be an administrative error. It could be a misunderstanding. It could be, and I've seen this happen before, when the applicant tracking system, some horrible applicant tracking system that was written in 1984, intakes the position descriptions and reformats them and takes all of the sub bullets and makes them in bullets. Now it looks like there's 50 requirements when a lot of those were only preferences. And the job description is horrible and nobody ever knows. The manager would be probably devastated if he knew why nobody was applying to the horrible job description. But nobody ever reads it and nobody ever knows. And that application, I'm going to show you, here's the steps you should take. When you see it, you're like, but I love that company. I love company XYZ. I would love to work there, but I can't do that job description. Nobody can do that job description.
Right.
Step 1, apply. Step 2, I'm going to take you to LinkedIn here in a second. You're going to go to LinkedIn. Don't expect, don't expect to get a reply from your application almost always. It's a black hole. I wish it wasn't, but it is. And you're going to look up XYZ company on LinkedIn, and then you're going to do to the recruiters what they do to you. You're going to look for where the people are that work for that company, and you're going to be like, Bartholomew, he's a recruiter. I'm going to send him a direct message. Hey, Bartholomew, I applied for this job, and I noticed, it had a lot of requirements. I'm hoping that there's some flexibility there. I don't really have lacrosse experience. I don't really know a lot of people that do. And then you're going to give him 1 business day to reply to you. Just 1. I promise, just 1. And if he does, 1. And if he doesn't, you're going to go back to LinkedIn and you're going to look for the director or the VP of the solutions architecture division where this job likely rests. And you're going to say, hi, sorry to bother you, Mary the director. I noticed this. I'm really excited. I'm really interested. Maybe Bartholomew hasn't gotten around to his messages yet. And I understand that I'm super eager. And please take a look at my profile. And here's what I'm going to promise the whole world, however many people are on right now. You can quote me. If you don't get a response, I will buy you a beer.
Wow.
This is
okay. See you at DEF CON.
See you at DEF CON. The card hacking village will buy you a beer.
Do you think there's another reason perhaps, and that's just simply that those posting the job just don't know what they want or what they're even looking for?
I think it's very, like I said, there could be a misunderstanding, but I feel like there isn't likely, gosh, I hope there isn't such a disconnect in between the person who wants to fill the job and they know what their customer wants. Don't get me wrong. Most of my end customers are the US government, and I should be careful what I say. Sometimes, delete all that. The end customer changes their mind. Get to the good part. Sometimes the end customer changes their mind frequently. So that happens. It really, really does. You're out there, you're the recruiter, you're the manager, and you think you know what they want, and then they change their mind, or they completely change the requirements. They change the location, they change the tools that you need, everything. So that happens. And in those cases, maybe they're trying to cover all the ground, and that's why they put that many things on there. But they should, all the potential employers should clean up the job descriptions. They really should. And you have to get through all these hurdles. You have to get through these awful job descriptions, the resume, the application process, the interview process, getting dropped on accident, getting ghosted. There's so many hurdles you have to get through. The best way to do it is what we're doing right now: networking and communicating, being at conferences, communicating with each other on social. I have to say, I appreciate what you said about how we stand up to each other, for each other. Yeah, there's infighting. Yeah, there's issues. This community has been so there for me. Like, I can't even tell you.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, giving me opportunities. And something personal happened a couple of weeks ago, and everybody kind of rallied together and raised money for my family. Like, it's amazing. It's mostly overall very good. And because it's good, I can care about it so much that I can sell it very well. So
Perfect.
that's how I feel.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Well, Kirsten, thank you very much for your testimony.
Yeah.
And for sharing your time with us. Really, we really appreciate it. It's perfect. It's
And
nice
taking it on the chin for all the recruiters out there. Like that.
Well,
that's above and
exactly
beyond.
right. Yeah, I was going to say that, that we probably don't have too many recruiters on the roster for the evening.
Yeah.
So yeah, we really appreciate your time. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers.
And follow her at KRENNER. Go ahead and give her a follow.
If
Yeah,
you go
and
to,
I will write this up and post it for you guys.
and
Oh, lovely.
just ahead.
Perfect. Thank you.
Excellent.
And just a heads up, so everyone knows, if you go to the BeerCon one official site, I don't know if there's a link somewhere. In the agenda, everyone's Twitter profiles there.